All right, so that's why it's more applicable to us. We live under grace, the grace that Jesus provided for us. We live with the power of the Holy Ghost available to us that Jesus promised in John chapter 14, right? So we have the power of the Holy Ghost, right? We're living in grace, so we are a New Testament church. Just trying to help us. Don't want to leave folks behind because we assume everybody been in church 50 years and everybody has not. So let me give you the information so you understand why we say we are a New Testament church. But the Old Testament had some good information that we can learn from. When David wrote about strongholds and Psalms and things like that, it was good for us to know that those strongholds were fortified places that held up very strong against winds, right? Against storms, against wars, right? You wasn't just going to blow down a stronghold. You weren't just going to go over there and knock it out with your chariot. You weren't going to let your horse put a good left hook on it and a hoof on it and take it out. No. You were going to have to work. And the truth of the matter is you really weren't going to succeed without a lot of planning and work to tear down a stronghold. So when Paul used it, he used it metaphorically. We all understand what a metaphor is, right? It is not the literal meaning of a word. It is a word that is used to describe a situation or to help you better understand, to relate to something. So when Paul talked about the weapons in chapter 10 of 2 Corinthians, when he said, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, they're not carnal. I'm not using, and in the old saints, he said they're not carnal. No, you're not using things of the natural world to defeat these things. But they're mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. They're mighty through God to pull down strongholds. So what are strongholds metaphorically? The strongholds that you hear the church mention now, we are always talking metaphorically at this point. In most cases, unless strongholds of life and the strongholds, we're talking about those things that typically take place. They start where? Somebody shouted out. Where do you think they start? In the mind. Why do you think the strongholds start in the mind? You think it's in the heart, right? You would think. No. It's in the mind because it's with the mind that we serve the Lord. So the strongholds start in your mind. The devil wants to have your mind crazy. He wants you to lose your mind. He wants you to think that up is down and down is up. Why do you think, and the people get upset with me, but why do you think the church stands against homosexuality so tough? And you say, well, they don't talk about all the fornication and all the adultery that's going on like they talk about the homosexuality. There's a reason for it. Let me help you for free. Because adultery, fornication, all of that is sin. It will send you to hell. We get that. But it does not go against the nature of a person. It does not go against the nature of what God made a person to be, right? Naturally. It goes against your spiritual being, right? But it does not go against the natural thing, right? A man with a woman is natural, right? But a man with a man is sick. It is not natural. It is abnormal. It is not correct. I'm sorry. You don't have to like it. It's just the truth. And so it becomes a stronghold in your mind because now we went from think about this now. We went from, in the world, I've said it before, we went from I Love Lucy, where you never saw Ricky and Lucy married in real life. You never saw them in the same bed. You never saw no type of conjugal situations on the TV show with Ricky and Lucy, even though they were actually married in real life. Because it was not something that we did. We just didn't see that. That just didn't happen. That was nasty. That was wrong. Fast forward to today. You can't find one show now that does not include not only all types of sexual activity, but they make it almost, at this point, I'm sure it's mandatory that homosexuality be included. Why? Because we went from Lucy to just loose. And here's what's going to happen. Because we took all of the morality out of life, right? We started making it okay. Think about it. I don't even remember too many episodes of Ricky and Lucy kissing. They was married, y'all, in real life. Ain't too many episodes. They didn't do that. Now, y'all, I used to love Family Matters. You know why I like Family Matters was a clean show so much. You didn't have a whole lot of stuff in Family Matters. You didn't have a whole lot. Now, they did have that boy dressed up like a girl. That was the ugliest girl I ever seen. He had her dressed up like a girl. But they did do that, and that ain't good. That opened the doors. But that's what I can name from that show. But think about it. We went from all these different things. You can't find nothing like that on TV. Our children don't.